Breaking Down the Law is sponsored by Battle-Born Injury Lawyers.
Hey, once again, it is a Wednesday, so we are breaking down the law with our friend Matt Hoffmann, touching on the topics that obviously impact us, that you've been maybe hearing about in the news. And this week, it's a big one. Yeah, we're focusing on college athletes being paid for their likeness, name, or image being used. So we're breaking this down because the news on this is that California's governor, Gavin Newsom, just signed a bill allowing this to move forward in California. So essentially, you have college athletes who can sign up with agents, get endorsement deals.
Correct.
So this could be really interesting. You have people on both sides of it, and obviously the NCAA, has rules in place saying that you can't do this.
Right, you can't do it, period.
Yeah, so let's talk about just breaking it down, kind of the history of it, because there is kind of a local tie to how this all got started.
Yeah, so it kind of all starts with Ed O'Bannon,
Yeah.
who lives in Henderson. He played for UCLA.
Right.
And he sued the NCAA and I think it was EA Sports.
Yep.
They had a video game where if you picked UCLA as your team, it had his number, and it looked exactly like him, the player. And he brought the lawsuit saying, hey, if you're going to do that, I need to be compensated. And he won. But understand, that's outside the context of paying somebody while they're in school.
Got it.
That's just the general premise. What's being proposed in California, and it doesn't go into effect till 2023. I think that's for a reason. But what it says is that if you use their likeness or whatever, you can be compensated for it. So endorsement deals. So California says they're going to do it. The NCAA said, hey, if you do that, we're not going to let any of your schools participate in our programs, in the big tournaments, the bowl games, etc. California kind of calls their bluff. Then New York announces they're going to propose a similar law. Florida is going to propose a law. North Carolina is proposing a law. I assume Texas, Oklahoma, other states are going to follow suit.
And there are talks of it even here in Nevada.
Right.
We have a lawmaker that's, possibly getting the ball rolling on that.
And the point would be, what is the NCAA tournament without Duke, North Carolina, Florida, Florida State, Stanford, Cal? So I think that it's trying to push the NCAA in some kind of a direction to change their rule prohibiting the receipt of any kind of endorsement deals.
So California's basically calling this bluff.
I think so.
It's like, how are you going to be able to, have these big tournaments if a lot of these states would have some of the bigger players are saying, we're thinking about doing this. So, and I guess, how would that even work? Do you see the NCAA maybe meeting them in the middle? I know we also talked about the fact that there's a reason why it may not be going into effect until 2023, because maybe there need to be some parameters or they need to kind of amend it.
They need to definitely, so look, this is like forcing the NCAA to come in and put in some kind of agreed upon caps on these things.
Okay.
Because the free market would take control of this and it would be absurd.
Okay, because you get kind of an example of that.
Yeah, think about it. So you're a top recruit playing football. And again, this is only going to affect the top end players.
True.
I don't think anybody playing lacrosse or swimming or diving is going to get big lucrative endorsement deals. But anyway, you're going to have schools like Oregon. Well, we all know their most famous alumni is Phil Knight, the owner of Nike. So now you can literally go to them and say, hey, for every year you play football here at Oregon, Nike's going to give you $500,000 a year. And then Maryland shows up and says, hey, our alumni is the founder of Under Armour. Come to us, and Under Armour will give you $1 million a year.
Yeah, so this is kind of kicking the door wide open.
Well, and where's amateurism at that point?
Yeah.
How can we say they're a student athlete when you're literally picking your school based on who's going to sponsor you?
So there are a lot of issues to work through with this. Yeah, so California just putting it out there and basically getting the law out there, on the table. But obviously, there's going to have to be some tailoring.
Yeah, there's going to be a middle ground.
Yeah.
The alternative would be, I think, the end of amateurism.
Interesting.
And obviously, they can't allow that to happen.
Well, we'd love to hear what you have to say on it. We'll obviously post this interview and you can weigh in. It definitely is one that gets people talking, that's for sure. So the conversation will continue with Matt next Wednesday. So as always, we appreciate you, Matt.